Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2002 action sport film Undisputed. Now this is the film that's directed by Walter Hill, yes, Walter Hill, and it stars Wesley Snipes, Ving Rhames, Peter Falk, Michael Rooker, Wes Stewart and Fisher Stevens. Great cast. Now this is a film that I have watched for essentially one main reason. Now I did watch this back in the day when it was first released. I remember owning it either on VHS or DVD back in the day, and it is a film that I'd watched at that time, but it's one that I'd never really thought about that much since. But the main reason I wanted to watch this again is I am currently catching up and watching a lot of Scott Adkins films. Now, while obviously Scott Adkins isn't in this film, he was in all of the Undisputed sequels, and I think they've made 4 so far. So he plays Boyka in all the sequels, so he's a big part of this franchise. So if I'm going to be watching and reviewing those films, I needed to rewatch and review this film. Now, what is this film about? Well, this film focuses on the heavyweight champion of the world, George "Iceman" Chambers, played by Ving Rhames, and this is clearly a riff on Mike Tyson. George the Iceman Chambers is convicted of rape and sentenced to, I think it's 6 years in the penitentiary. Again, very much like Mike Tyson at the time, so obviously he's meant to be, this movie's version of Mike Tyson. Now, when he's sent to prison, he is then informed that the champion of that prison is Wesley Snipes' character, Monroe Hutchin, who himself, before he was sent to prison for murder, I believe it was a hot prospect as a boxer. And he's beaten all comers in this prison. He's the champion of the prison. He's beaten some guys way out of his weight category as well. And everybody in the prison obviously wants to see a fight between the heavyweight champion of the world and the prison's champion. And that's essentially what this film is. It's the build up to the inevitable fight between these two characters. So what's my thoughts on Undisputed? Well, like I said, I've just rewatched it to do this review. And you know what? It's actually pretty good, is this film. Better than I remembered. I remember not being particularly impressed with it at the time when I first watched it in the early noughties, but it's actually pretty good. The fight scenes are really nicely done, and there's not just there's a lot of fight scenes in this film. There's fight scenes in the canteen, in the prison yard, in boxing rings, and then obviously in the cage at the end between these two characters, and they're all done really, really well. You can see that Ving Rhames put a lot of effort into his training for this. He's in good shape. He moves like a boxer. He's very, very believable, and Wesley Snipes is Wesley Snipes. He's always been very athletic, and he's very, very convincing as his character, as his fighter. So it's got some good characters in it. Now the main downfall, I think, certainly for Ving Rhames' character, George the Iceman Chambers, is seriously unlikable. Now I know they have to kind of make it light and dark in regards to good versus bad, but it makes it so one-sided. And the problem is with Wesley Snipes' character is he doesn't do enough to make you like him. You know very little about him. You get a couple of hints here and there about him and his past and that sort of thing, but he doesn't do enough with this character to make you like him. I don't think Wesley Snipes put enough effort in to his performance, so you kind of get this weird balance of these two characters. One you really dislike, Ving Rhames' character, but you kind of respect him because he's portrayed as this great fighter, this heavyweight champion of the world. And Wesley Snipes' character, who is, I don't know if it's how the character was written, he's just really laid back, so you don't really connect with him either. So when the fight comes at the end, you don't care as much as you probably should. That's the main problem with this issue. Now this film is propped up with some really great character actors. Peter Falk, who plays Mendy Ripstein, who's like an aging mobster that was sent to prison for tax evasion. I know it's cliched. Is brilliant in this film. If you're only ever used to seeing Peter Falk as Columbo, you'll see what a good actor he is in this film. He's really good as this really grumpy mobster who knows everything about boxing, all the history of boxing. Great character. He's probably the best thing in the film, I think, Peter Falk. Michael Rooker is in this film. He plays one of the prison guards who obviously who also runs like the boxing program and things like that. He doesn't have a big part in the film, but he's in it. And Wes Studi, who plays like Ving Rhames' cellmate and ultimately gets involved in his corner and things like that. And Fisher Stevens, again, another great character actor. So there's all these great actors littered into this film that elevate it above your bog standard action sports film. And it does really help the film because, like I've said, there are downfalls to the characters of both Wesley Snipes and Ving Rhames. Well, I think Ving Rhames is the most developed character in this film. He's just not very likeable. And I think Ving Rhames is a very strong presence in this film, but he's meant to be very powerful, very strong, takes no crap from nobody in this film. So yeah, it's a good film. I enjoyed it. I was entertained by it, and it is something that I would probably, if I'm going to score this film, I would score it. And I'm going to be quite generous actually. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 because it is an entertaining sports film, and it is something that I would definitely recommend you check out. I obviously can't recommend the sequels yet because I haven't seen any of the sequels, but I've heard good things certainly about a couple of them, so I am looking forward to checking it out, the sequels. So we'll see where that takes us. So if you have seen any of the sequels, please let me know in the comments what you think of them. But for now, this is my review for Undisputed. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will be back with more content on Screen Stars very soon.